In Singapore, a love affair has turned into a national scandal. This is in their parliament. Before we tell you about it, some context. Singapore is known for its extremely clean politics. So much so that at one time parliamentarians would dress only in white clothes to show people that they were quote-unquote whiter than white. But now some dirt has just tarnished this squeaky clean image. An affair has led to the resignation of 2 parliamentarians. Again, when we think of reasons for politicians resigning, an affair would not be too high on the list. But in this case, it's being called the biggest political challenge for the ruling party in 40 years. And it has caused quite a quake in the tranquil world of Singaporean politics. Here's a report.
There's a political scandal rocking Singapore. The island nation just saw 2 parliamentarians resign. One of them is this man, Tan Chuan Jin. Until yesterday, he was Singapore's Speaker of Parliament. The other person to resign was Cheng Li Hui. She had been a member of Parliament since 2015. The reason for their resignation was that they were having an affair. The Parliament Speaker is married with 2 children. In his resignation letter, he wrote, "For me personally, this recent episode has added to the hurt I have caused my family. I have let them down. We have spoken about my personal conduct before. There are areas where I have fallen short. I need to take responsibility for them and help heal my family." The letter was addressed to Singapore's Prime Minister, Lee Hsien Loong. Notice how he wrote that he had spoken about his personal conduct before. The affair was reportedly going on for years. The Prime Minister was aware of it as far back as 2020, but only now was the Speaker asked to resign. The timing could be related to another gaffe by Tan. He was recently caught bad-mouthing another lawmaker in Parliament. Tan had forgotten to switch off his mic, and his tirade against a lawmaker became public. However, Lee says it's the affair that resulted in Tan's ouster.
Besides Mr. Tan's recent hot mic incident, the unparliamentary language which was used, there's also the relationship of the inappropriate relationship between him and his fellow PAP MP, Ms. Cheng Li Hui. This is, in comparison, I think the more serious matter, because he was a speaker and she is an MP, and there should not have been a relationship.
In Singapore, affairs regularly lead to disqualification. It happened in 2012 as well. The then Speaker of the House, Michael Palmer, also resigned over an affair. At the time, the Prime Minister said it was the proper thing to do. The then Deputy Prime Minister, Teo Chee Han, said, "MPs have a duty to the public which they can only perform if they do not mix up their personal and official relationships." There have been other affairs that led to resignations as well. In 2016, an MP from the ruling party, David Ong, resigned over a personal indiscretion. Anytime such indiscretions become public, the MPs are shown the door. So once again, the Speaker of Parliament was asked to step down over an affair. The Speaker. It's one of the highest-ranking roles in Singapore's government. The Speaker is third in line for the presidency in the country. It's not just anyone who can become Speaker. They are directly appointed by the Prime Minister. This means Tan was seen as competent. So how does an affair lead to his removal? In most of the world, affairs aren't the worst offence committed by politicians, not by a long shot. Think Boris Johnson, Bill Clinton, John F. Kennedy, Jacques Chirac, Nicolas Sarkozy and François Hollande. The list goes on. In fact, it's more common to see struggles to remove politicians implicated in insurrections. So why do Singapore's politicians adhere to such a strict moral code? In part, it's due to the country's history with corruption. Singapore was a British colony till 1965. Before that, it was occupied by Japanese forces during World War II. Both colonizers left a legacy of corruption in governance, and when the country became independent, the government led by Lee Kuan Yew was determined to uproot corruption. And he succeeded. Singapore has regularly been considered as the sole Asian nation free of corruption. This reputation has allowed his party to dominate Singapore's politics. The People's Action Party has governed the island nation continuously since even before the country became independent. Party members were known to wear white shirts and trousers to showcase their clean image. They were supposed to be whiter than white. holier than thou. It's a legacy the party cherishes. It's also a political ploy, banking on their clean image to win elections. So that's why anytime something like an affair becomes public, the offenders are ousted, irrespective of their qualifications. But that's the thing, even if people are morally grey, is it the party's place to intervene? Moral dubiousness at home doesn't mean they are bad at governance. It's a personal matter. Should Singapore's elected officials be wasting their time with family therapy sessions? Or leave it to the families to sort out their problems and let the government stay just focused on governance?